Right now, while you're watching this video, an AI is approving a loan.
The question is, who cares?
Another is optimizing global shipping routes. Another is writing code. Another is replacing tasks that 5 years ago only humans could do. The question is no longer, will AI change the economy? The real question is, who will benefit and who will be left behind? Because what we're witnessing isn't just technological innovation. It may be the largest economic transformation since the Industrial Revolution, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why the next decade could create more wealth and more disruption than the last 50 years combined.
Look at this. Somebody come look at this.
A revolution, but different. Every major technological shift reshaped the economy. Steam engines replaced muscle. Electricity replaced candles. The internet replaced geography. AI is replacing cognition. That's new. Unlike past revolutions that automated physical labor, AI automates thinking. And according to major economic estimates, artificial intelligence could add $10 to $15 trillion to global GDP within the next decade. That's more than the current GDP of China. But here's the twist. Not everyone will capture that value equally, and that's where things get interesting. The new economic power structure. In the AI economy, three things matter: compute power, data, talent. Countries that dominate these dominate the future. The United States leads in foundational AI models. China leads in large-scale implementation. Europe leads in regulation. But developing economies face a dilemma: adopt fast or fall permanently behind. Because AI doesn't just increase productivity, it concentrates economic power. The companies that control advanced chips, data infrastructure, and model training pipelines control leverage, and leverage creates economic dominance. But the real shockwave isn't geopolitics, it's employment. The job market shift. Here's the uncomfortable truth. AI isn't just automating factory work, it's automating white-collar tasks, legal research, content drafting, basic financial analysis, customer service, coding assistance. But here's the nuance most headlines miss. Entire jobs aren't disappearing overnight. Tasks within jobs are, and that changes everything. Because if 40% of your tasks become automated, your job doesn't vanish, it evolves. The new divide won't be employed versus unemployed. It will be AI-augmented workers versus AI-ignored workers. And that divide could define income inequality for the next generation. But employment is only half the story. The real engine of economic growth is productivity. Productivity, the real game. Productivity drives GDP, when output increases without proportional increases in cost. Economies expand. AI allows one person to do the work of three. One analyst can process millions of data points in seconds. One marketer can generate campaign variations instantly. One developer can build software faster than ever. Historically, productivity growth leads to higher profits, lower consumer prices, wage growth, eventually, larger markets. But here's the catch. When productivity increases rapidly, competition intensifies. If everyone can produce more, margins compress. And in hyper-competitive markets, only the fastest adopters win. Which brings us to the hidden cost of AI, because this revolution isn't cheap. The cost of intelligence. Training advanced. AI systems cost hundreds of millions of dollars. Large-scale data centers consume energy equivalent to small cities. Massive investment is flowing into specialized chips and infrastructure. The global race for AI hardware is already reshaping supply chains. And here's the structural issue. Only a handful of companies can afford to train frontier-level models. That creates centralization. Centralization creates dependency. Dependency reshapes markets. We are potentially moving toward an economy where a small number of firms provide the intelligence layer for the entire world. That's unprecedented. But cost isn't the only risk. Inequality might be the bigger one. Inequality and disruption. Historically, automation increases inequality in the short term. Highly skilled workers benefit first. Capital owners benefit more. Mid-level skill workers feel pressure. AI amplifies cognitive ability, which means it amplifies skill gaps. If one highly skilled individual can leverage AI to produce 5 times output, their income potential multiplies. Meanwhile, routine roles face compression. This is why policymakers are debating universal basic income, reskilling at massive scale, taxation of automated systems, education reform. The AI economy may require structural redesign of labor markets, because this isn't just about efficiency, it's about distribution, and distribution shapes social stability. But let's zoom out. Where is this heading? The next 10 years. Over the next decade, we're likely to see AI-native companies with tiny teams generating massive revenue, near-total automation in logistics and digital operations, real-time predictive economic modeling, personalized, AI co-pilots embedded in every profession. AI won't be a department. It will be infrastructure, like electricity, invisible, essential, everywhere, and companies that fail to integrate it deeply won't compete. Not because they lack effort, but because their cost structure will be obsolete. Yet here's the most important part. AI does not eliminate the human role. It transforms it. The human advantage. AI optimizes. Humans contextualize. AI predicts. Humans judge. AI calculates. Humans assign meaning, trust, ethics, long-term vision. These remain deeply human domains. The future isn't human versus machine. It's human plus machine. And those who master the interface between both will have the greatest economic leverage in history. We are at the beginning of the largest productivity surge in modern history. AI could accelerate global GDP growth, reshape labor markets, concentrate power, redefine competitive advantage. The revolution isn't coming. It's already here. The only real question is, in the AI economy, will you be replaced by automation or amplified by it? Because the global economy never moves backward, and this time, it's moving fast. The death of the linear career. The traditional economic ladder, study for 20 years, work for 40, retire, is collapsing.
What?
In an AI-driven world,
All right, let's see what this thing can do. What's SR-71's record?
The altitude record for fixed-wing flight is 85,000 feet, sir.
Records are made to be broken. Come on!
we are entering the era of the cognitive sprint. Skills that once took a decade to master are now commoditized within months. Recent data shows the half-life of a technical skill has fallen from 5 years to under 18 months. As a result, capital is shifting. Investors are no longer prioritizing companies with the largest workforces, but those with the strongest compute-to-revenue ratio. Harvard Business Review reports that companies operating with less than 10% traditional staff, optimized around AI systems, are outperforming industry giants in revenue per employee by more than 7 times. The old model of climbing the corporate ladder through tenure and seniority does not scale in a world where AI can replicate expertise instantly. LinkedIn's 2025 Workplace Learning Report confirms the shift. The fastest growing skills are not traditional degrees, but hybrid AI human capabilities, such as industry-specific prompt engineering and AI-assisted data storytelling. The value of what you know is being replaced by how effectively you leverage AI outputs and transform them into decisions. Careers are no longer linear, they are fragmented, non-linear, and hyper-compressed. McKinsey estimates that over 60% of high-value tech and finance roles could be partially automated within 3 years, while new AI orchestration roles are growing at 15 to 20% annually. The World Economic Forum predicts that by 2030, the average worker will need to reskill completely at least twice to remain competitive. The economic ladder has been replaced by a trampoline, one that can propel you forward or drop you entirely. The zero marginal cost of intelligence. As AI models become more efficient, the marginal cost of intelligence is trending towards zero. This is not just innovation, it is a deflationary shockwave. When a legal contract can be drafted for pennies or a diagnosis performed at the cost of electricity, the service economy, 70% of GDP in developed nations, must be rebuilt. We are shifting from scarcity to curation. The profit is no longer in doing the work, but in owning intent and final verification. Deloitte estimates AI could reduce the marginal cost of professional services by up to 80% within 5 years. Tasks that once required teams of lawyers, analysts, or accountants can now be handled by one human supervising AI systems. Law, finance, healthcare, education, marketing, and design are all being reshaped. MIT Technology Review highlights that AI can already generate software code, interpret medical imaging, and conduct financial audits at near zero cost. So what differentiates humans? Judgment, context, and the ability to synthesize disparate insights. The traditional value of labor, time, and effort is eroding. Value is shifting toward oversight, ethical accountability, and integration of AI outputs into high-stakes decisions. Humans are moving from producers to curators. Companies like Palantir, OpenAI, and DeepMind are not just competing on AI performance. They are competing on frameworks that enable humans to meaningfully apply AI outputs in complex systems. In a world where transactional work is nearly free, the premium lies in framing, contextualizing, and validating AI results. The sovereign compute race. Beyond corporations, nations are entering the sovereign AI era. Countries such as Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Japan, and China are building massive GPU clusters. They recognize that relying on foreign AI infrastructure is the digital equivalent of being landlocked. If you do not own compute, you become dependent. China announced a $100 billion initiative in 2026 to build the world's largest AI supercluster, aiming for domestic AI autonomy within 5 years. Saudi Arabia's NEOM project and the UAE's innovation funds are investing billions into national AI infrastructure, treating GPUs as strategic assets comparable to oil reserves. Even smaller nations like Estonia are investing in decentralized AI grids to protect data sovereignty and digital governance. AI compute has become as critical as defense or energy. Control over AI infrastructure means control over innovation, economic agility, and national power. The Brookings Institution warns that countries without domestic AI infrastructure could experience 1 to 2% lower annual GDP growth compared to AI superpowered economies. In the 21st century, geopolitical power depends as much on algorithms and GPUs as on land, labor, and capital. The collapse of middle management. AI is a horizontal technology. It doesn't just replace workers, it reduces the need for managers supervising them. AI agents can assign tasks, coordinate workflows, and quality check outputs autonomously. This is the Great Flattening. Gartner predicts that by 2027, 50% of traditional middle management roles in large corporations will be automated or reduced to oversight of AI processes. Middle managers, once the bridge between strategy and execution, are becoming redundant as AI handles scheduling, reporting, and supervision with higher precision. Accenture reports that AI-driven team coordination can increase output by 40% while reducing operational costs by 30% with minimal human intervention. Corporations are evolving into hollow organizations, small strategic cores surrounded by AI agent networks. The Bureau of Labor Statistics notes that roles centered on routine oversight are stagnating, while hybrid positions combining AI orchestration, strategy, and human engagement are rapidly expanding. The income gap will widen between those who direct AI systems and those competing against them. In the AI economy, survival requires supervising intelligent systems, making high-stakes judgment calls, and extracting value from technically perfect but contextually complex outputs. Final verdict: the survival of the contextualist. In a world saturated with cheap, perfect AI outputs, human context becomes the ultimate luxury asset. Empathy, ethical reasoning, cultural nuance, and strategic foresight are becoming high-value economic skills. The World Economic Forum ranks contextual intelligence and ethical judgment among the most in-demand skills of the coming decade. AI can replicate knowledge and process, but it cannot fully navigate human motivation, cultural complexity, or moral consequence. Across sectors, the pattern is consistent. In finance, AI can model markets, but humans interpret geopolitical shocks and sentiment. In medicine, AI diagnoses, but humans navigate ethics and patient history. The value lies in integration and contextualization. Harvard Business School has introduced cognitive architecture into its MBA curriculum, focusing on designing, directing, and verifying AI systems rather than simply using them. Success is no longer about accumulating knowledge. It is about orchestrating intelligence creatively and ethically. The new elite will not be narrow specialists, but integrators, those who synthesize knowledge, adapt quickly, and generate value at the intersection of AI and human insight. We are witnessing the collapse of the linear career, the flattening of corporations, the commoditization of intelligence, and the geopolitical race for compute. Companies are hollowing out. Nations are stockpiling GPUs. Intelligence is becoming abundant and cheap. The choice is clear: remain anchored to outdated hierarchies or enter the cognitive sprint. Master contextual literacy, orchestrate AI systems, and shape outcomes in an economy where intelligence is everywhere but insight is rare. Those who adapt will not merely survive. They will become architects of strategy, innovation, and ethical decision-making in the age of artificial intelligence.